All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give honor and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Chakurash. We say Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Bahashim Chakurash. And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushai, 2025, which is the hopeful year of our deliverance and the judgment and the destruction of Esau. Let's jump into this video, this beautiful video. The title of this is Proof There's Power in Hope. All right, proof there is power in hope. And why this is a very important video. I uploaded the video I'm getting ready to share earlier. But, you know, as I was talking to brothers, I was talking to Ak over this video. And an important thing came out is that a lot of Jakes do not have hope. That's why it says knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. And what does knowledge and wisdom transcend to? What is it? What can you also add that is hope? Because knowledge and wisdom in what? The scriptures that we've been taught. That's why it says some have gathered faith. All right, we've gathered faith in these times. Yeah, it's hard, Jake. And these times are not meant to be everything is peachy. Everything don't go wrong. That's why it says honorable men are tried through the furnace of adversity. So we will go through things, we ups and downs, highs, lows, but especially now when it comes to prophecy, these things are to give us that hope, all right? And I got a few precepts just to back up the point, but this experiment is very heavy because this shows you that the mentality means it all right? The same thing with now, once we see this video go into certain things, you know, I'm gonna bring out certain facts and speak on it because this shows you that we have power even in this truth, just having hope alone, besides those that do not have hope, okay? And I always used to say this about Jake in the world, that they don't know what's going on. And that's the worst position to be in, because once you see these things coming down the pike, that's why it says that it's going to be, how's the scripture say? It says it's going to be a time that has never been on the earth. Okay, if this is a time that's never been on the earth, then that means that there's going to be things taking place and things happening. Even the scriptures say, if it says, if it be possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So there's things that are going to happen in these times that are going to be able to, even if it was possible to deceive the elect. So how much more, if the elect could be possibly fooled, how much more somebody that's not studied, somebody that's not believing, somebody that's hesitant, and those that are coming against this truth, that's on them. All right, we're at the time where shall their unbelief make the scriptures to none effect. So that situation will happen where you will have unbelievers. You're gonna have scoffers. You're gonna have those that don't subscribe to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but that's on them. All right, not all men are chosen, and not all men have faith. All right, so let's go down and watch this video real quick. This is an interesting video. Pay attention.
Experiment is dark, but it proves something real about
educational purposes only. So just watch this video. He breaks it down, and then I found the article. That way we can go into it and then filter through the scriptures, and Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. Let's play it.
belief. Scientists put experiment is dark, but it proves something real about belief. Scientists put rats in water to see how long they'd tread before drowning. On average, they lasted about 15 minutes. With the second group, though, just before they gave up, the scientists pulled them out, dried them off, let them recover, and then dropped them back in. You'd think they'd last maybe 20, 30 tops, but they swam for 60 hours. Not minutes, hours. Why? Because once they had experienced being saved once, they believed it could happen again. But that wasn't endurance, that was hope. And that's how most people live, too. They don't drown from exhaustion, they drown from disbelief. They don't quit because they are weak, they quit because they stop believing that something's coming to pull them out. Your body will go as far as your mind believes it's worth continuing. Don't fold at 15 minutes. You've got 60 hours in you. Experiment is dark, but it proves something real about belief.
And I'm getting ready to play it again, but that right there shows you that he said something that your body will go only as far as your mind. So that's showing you the same two species, and I'm getting ready to pull up the article, but that's the mentality of it. That's your mind is, what does it say? Mind over matter. Okay, mind over body. Okay, if you train your mind, you exercise your mind, and you have that drive. Same thing with the Iron Man runner. He's that ex-military guy, and He was training with the UFC fighter. The apostle shared the video, and the guy going through training routines that shatter normal men. But what's the difference between them? His mind is his mentality is strong. He's worked on his mentality, not just his body. Okay, his body is mirroring his mentality and his drive when it comes to his what does it say, the way that he thinks and the resilience you have there. So let's play one more time.
Experiment is dark, but it proves something real about belief. Scientists put rats in water to see how long they'd tread before drowning. On average, they lasted about 15 minutes. With the second group, though, just before they gave up, the scientists pulled them out, dried them off, let them recover, and then dropped them back in. You'd think they'd last maybe 20, 30 tops, but they swam for 60 hours. Not minutes, hours. Why? Because once they had experienced being saved once, they believed it could happen again. But that wasn't endurance, that was hope. And that's how most people live, too. They don't drown from exhaustion, they drown from disbelief. They don't quit because they are weak, they quit because they stop believing that something's coming to pull them out. Your body will go as far as your mind believes.
With us, those that are in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that truly believe. That's why it says it's impossible to please the Lord without faith. Those that actually believe in this thing know that, guess what? There is a Savior coming. Yahweh Shai is coming on the planet Earth. Lord willing, we be a part of that chosen number. But the hope we have, just like the Jake in the world doesn't have that same belief and hope in anything. They can't trust their enemy. They can't trust the society that they're in. They can't trust their family members. That's why it says the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but there's no love out here, especially when you come to the time where they're going to start cutting these programs. They're going to start, things are getting tight when it comes to work and all these, because the elites are planning this. This is a controlled demolition of Babylon the Great. All right, but that's the main point there on that video, which I found heavy. It was heavy, but this is the actual experiment, and this was released in December 2016 and was going over it. And it says, a few weeks ago, I learned about an infamous study done back in 1957. Okay, and it says Dr. Court Richard, Richard. In it, he and his team did experiments on rats. They found that if the water temperature wasn't hot or too cold, domestic Norwegian rats were able to swim around 40 to 60 hours on average. Now, this is the part of the experiment that the guy didn't say. These were the same rats. You had a domestic version, and then you had a other version of the rat that wasn't able to do. So let's read it. And it says domestic Norwegian rats were able to swim around 40 to 60 hours on average. But when they put wild Norwegian rats into the exact same situation, they would die within 15 minutes. So these are the same species of rat. What do they mean by this, having those two control groups? One is pretty much able to do it on this 40 to 60 hour range because they're domesticated, but the wild ones, they're not used to that, so they're lasting 15 minutes. But they are the same species of rat, so they have the capability of going to 40 to 60 hour time frame. So the same thing now with Jake. The elect is different than the rest of the Jakes that you see in the world. All right. And it says they would die within 15 minutes. They were the same breed of rat. The only difference was one group was domestic and the other one was not. This, let's see here. Disparity of the results of the two groups was significant, and so they tried to track down what may have contributed contributed to it. The further experiment, they found that if they put wild rats into the water and then pulled them out after a few minutes and then repeated this a few times before the final test, the rats would end up lasting about the same length of time as the domestic group when the final test was run. Why did these few additional immersions in the water increase the endurance of these rats from 15 minutes to dozens of hours? See? So that's showing you that's like spiritual power pretty much. When you compare it, if you're doing something for 15 minutes and you die, but then turn around, you can now do it for 40 to 60 hours. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. So the same thing with us, we're able to do and go a lot further and last a lot longer because we do have that hope. Those guys that fall out, just like the apostles say, the apostles and elders always say concerning guys that fall out, that don't go through the scriptures, they don't believe, they haven't been solidified. They're not able to go through, and that's going through the ups, downs, losing family, things not going right. All these things can be compared unto the water. That's why the scriptures in the Apocrypha say that it is a narrow walkway, water on one side, deep waters, and fire on the other. It says narrow that only one man may walk at a time. So this truth in these times can be compared unto water itself. Okay. So the things that do come across, the things that we go through, that an average person that would go through it would not be able to stand it because they do not have it mixed with faith. Okay. And it says, well, the wild rats were not used to being confined. And the same thing, when you dump somebody into a situation like that, you start hyperventilating, you start struggling, you start doubting, fears, hesitance. That's why the rats would last 15 minutes. They would freak themselves out. They would be in that situation and they would be scared. Okay, that's why it says even in the law that if a man is scared, don't let him go to war. Okay, because he can affect others, but that's also affecting himself. Because if you go out there, you're super scared, then you're not going to be able to be at your top level. You're not going to be able to perform. All right, same thing with the military people, that they had situations where military men weren't shooting the enemy. They would shoot around them, shoot certain, non-lethal areas, but they wouldn't go through with it. Okay, that's why Esau's trying to push towards this automated war machine with drones and all that kind of those things. All right, and it says the wild rats was not used to being confined, so as soon as they were thrown into a new environment, one which seemed impossible to escape. See, same thing with this place. It seems impossible. There's no you tell that's why when you tell the average Jake, they can't see what we see. They don't believe that it's happening. They can't see anything beyond Babylon the Great. Okay, they only know this place because they haven't been woken up. The Lord hasn't tapped their pineal gland, hasn't woken their spirits up to be able to digest this truth, to embody this truth, and to hold on to this truth. Okay, that's where the difference is. But now those men that do grab a hold of that hope, they're able to last through the times that we're coming through. All right, so this is even heavier coming to the times that we're about to go through. Hope is very important. Gather hope. That's why you have to solidify this thing in your mind, because if you don't, when that environment gets even more drastic and more dangerous, you're going to need every bit of that hope and that faith. It says, one which seemed impossible to escape, they simply gave up. See? But if they had already been exposed to this same environment and had been removed, they knew that there was a chance the researchers could take them out of the water at any moment. It was no longer entirely hopeless, and they ended up lasting way longer than they would otherwise. Putting the ethics of the study aside for a moment, these findings highlight the role of hope, hope can play in our lives. Being in a state of hopelessness can strip us of our energy and motivation to continue, but finding hope can provide the strength to endure far longer than we may have expected. Difficult times are, by definition, difficult, but there's nothing compared to the weight of hopelessness, which means that giving the gift of hope to somebody who needs it may be one of the most valuable gifts we could ever give. And now, I ain't know it said this at the end. I just read the top part. But this is the spirit. That's the Ruach HaKodesh right there, man. Because this is what we're given through you, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. All right? This is the great hope that we have. There's light at the end of the tunnel, Jake. We have the assurity of grace that Yahweh Shai will judge this place. He will establish the kingdom of heaven, which belongs to Negro, Latino, and Native American, man and women and children, those that will be of the elect. So that's the greatest gift we can give you. It don't matter how many precepts you know. It doesn't matter how many lessons you supposedly know. Even look at these scholars, these supposed doctors of the law, doctors of divinity, all these titles. It don't matter if you don't have that hope, because that's what separates the elect from the rest. Is that hope that's been it's been embodied and been seared in their spirit to have, and they're gonna push towards that way. In the same time, in the mark of the beast, MOTB, you're gonna have hope to say, you know what, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking it. And the average person is going to be scared, because Esau is going to use fear to push people into that corner that they're not going to have a choice, because they don't know. Some people will take death, but they don't know how they're going to eat, because that's what government means, in mind control. Gov, control, and ment from mental is mind. So government is mind control. So that's what they're banking on the rest of these people having, is that mind control, or being mind controlled. That way they'll move towards that goal of the MOTB. All right. So that's a heavy point. So now let's get some precepts to back it up. To show you, it says, let's go. This is Proverbs 13 and verse 12. And it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but longing for, it says, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. NLT says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. And what's the ultimate dream? Is deliverance. Deliverance out of this place, judgment of Esau and these rest of these nations and the planet Earth being put back in order. That's what is the dream that we have. Okay, this is the King James Version Bible. Says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when desire cometh, it is a tree of life. So what do you think that this truth is? It's the Lord has given us the pack. He's given us the thing to hold on to make it to the finish line, okay? Because that's all we have. We don't have any tangible things. We don't know the time nor the hour, but all we know is that it's coming, and the Lord is He's gonna make good on His promises. It's not for us to try to figure out the time or the place, how it's gonna happen. The Lord gave us a guideline and an outline, and we just stick to that. It says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed. Come on, man. So whoever despises the word, same thing with this TikTok trend, where you got a lot of these Negroes in the world that are saying some things about the Israelites. But regardless, you're not disproving it. Who are we? Why did we come to Babylon? Why did we suffer hardcore chattel slavery? Why did we go through all these things that destroyed the family? All right, the 144,000 that in the 1/3 that's been given that hope, that's what's gonna make it through. But the rest of Jake, they don't have no answers. They don't know why they're in the position. They don't know what the position is gonna have for them. Same thing with the conscious community. None of these these things have hope attached to it. All it is dead. Is a dead doctrine. All it is death. There's no life coming to it. This is a living gospel because it's good news. No other thing can say they're gospel, because there's no good news that comes with that. Because only good news would have to go against the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which nothing can do that. That's why it says, who has resisted his will. So none of these other nations, none of these other people that worship these deities, these gods, can actually call it a gospel, because that would say that their future and their prophecy is going to trump the Lord's, which is not going to happen. So this is the prophecy that's going to be putting on the planet Earth that we've been given through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which is what? The prophecy of Third World War, the third woe, all right? The prophecies of Jacob's trouble, the missiles, all these things, those are things to look forward to, not just doom and gloom, all right? Because there's hope in that, because once this place is gone, the earth is going to be refreshed. It's going to be magnified. It's going to be better than it's ever been. The mentalities are going to change. So you're not going to have the broken house. You're not going to have the women acting terrible, man, okay? This is Romans 8 and verse 24 to 25. It says, for in this hope we were saved. See? But hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what he already sees? That's the same thing with those rats. Those rats didn't know better. They didn't have the know how to know their situation There was help that come out of that. They just went in there, they swimming, they panicking. It's like if you were thrown into the ocean. If you were thrown off in a boat in pitch dark in the ocean, you're gonna freak out because you wondering about the unknown. You don't know what's getting ready to happen. You don't know what's swimming below you. That's a terrible place to be right there, man. And on top of that, you're in the open ocean. So you wouldn't have no hope and nowhere to turn. But if you knew that, hey, there's gonna be a ship to come by, I just gotta wait on that ship, you would be in that water. Yeah, you would see darkness, you would see different things, but you would have that intention to say, okay, well, I know a ship's coming. I just gotta stay alive. But if you knew that you was in the middle of the ocean, no one's coming, no one's there, you'd be out in that water just for a little bit, and you'd start letting it sink in. That, oh shit, this could be it. I'm out here, nobody knows. You start hyperventilating pretty much. Okay, so these guys in the world, they're going to be spiritually hyperventilating. They're not going to know where to turn to, especially when MOTB comes. Man, it's going to hit them like a brick. It says who hopes for what he already sees, but if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it patiently. And that's what you said. It says in thy patience possess thy souls. Okay? So we're meant to have patience in this. It's a race, it's an endurance thing. It's not everything that's done overnight. That's not how it goes. Just like a tree. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A tree takes time before it even bears forth fruit. That's why the Lord compared this unto a mustard seed. So it's growing, and it says that the fowls of heaven, they turned unto it. They come unto it. That's what these other nations. It says Hebrews 11 and verse 1. It says, for faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the certainty of what we do not see. So faith, hope, all those things are mixed in there because it's the same thing. All right. If you have hope in something, that means you have faith in it. You said, oh shit, it's coming. I just gotta stay up. That's hope. Okay. If you have faith in something, you're gonna hope for it. All right, let's go down here. This is the book of Psalms 42 and verse 5. It says, why are you downcast, O my soul? Why the unease within me? Put your hope in Yahweh, for I will yet praise him for the salvation of his presence. So the Lord is in the midst of us by way of this knowledge, by way of this understanding, by way of this truth. That's how he's with us. And he's going to dwell within the 144,000 in the kingdom to come. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to dwell with Israel, man. Okay, this is Psalms 119 and verse 81. My soul faints for your salvation. I wait for you, Salaki, I wait for your word. And that's what we're doing. We hoping on salvation. It says the prisoner hope to be loose. That way he will not die in the pit. Okay, Lamentations 3:25-26. The Lord is good to those who wait for him. The soul who seeks him, it is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. So that's what we're doing. We're raising hell, but on the spiritual side, we're calm. That's why it says, come and rest with us. We're not tripping off these guys doing what they're doing and hating on Israel. We're too far gone. We're too far past that. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahshua has given us the solidarity of spirit to know that, hey, this is the way. Walk in it. All right, and we got the brotherhoods to show for it. You got brothers, man. Esau don't got nothing in the world. Jake don't got that in the world. A man trying to deal with somebody, woman or something like that. Those things that, can come up. This is Lamentations 3:25-26. The Lord is the good. It's like him. The Lord is good to those who wait for him. The soul who seeks him, it is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. And that's what we're doing. Wait patiently. All right. Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to make everything right, man. And it's a beautiful time we're coming through. We're in the front row seat to the greatest show to ever be done. The coming of Yahweh Shai, the establishment of the kingdom of heaven, the days are over with. The hard times are over. That's why it says that he's going to give them a new heart and a new flesh. So that's going to be a new body. That's going to be new. Everything's going to be new. You have to look in hindsight then, because it ain't going to be there anymore. It's going to be a new thing. The earth is going to be refreshed. The earth is going to be transformed into a beautiful place. Even now, I'll bring this out real quick, and then I'll close on this. They have northern lights may be visible in 23 U.S. states tonight So northern lights are not something that are happening in the U.S. Okay, so there's things happening on the even the space, all right, in the heavens. Things taking place. Let's see. Damn, it's beautiful. It says, read a little bit about it, and you can check the article. It says Northern Lights could put on an impressive show tonight, June 1st, on ongoing geomagnetic storm conditions may push uproar further south than usual, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. See? So all these things are taking place. You see the Northern Lights, that's in Alaska. But it's a beautiful thing, man. The Yahweh Shem HaShai is awesome with his creations, man. And we're getting ready to see more of it. All right. Eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what he has prepared for them that love him. All right. So with that, I say call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, B'chakwadash. Until the next time, I say shalom and more than that, and never keep faith. Shalom.